I was sitting here actually in this very chair. It's a pretty comfortable chair. And I was watching a highlight that came across of Caitlin Clark, and she's playing, it looks like 2-on-2, 3-on-3 at practice, maybe 5-on-5. And she shoots a sidestep jump shot. And I was watching it in real time, and then I freeze framed or froze an image. Which would it be? Froze an image. And the point of her release, the ball is to the left side of her head. It actually looks very similar to Lonzo Ball's shot before when he was in college and his first year or so in the NBA with the Lakers. And, I happen to have watched Caitlin play a lot and know that she doesn't shoot off the dribble really going to her right, and that she shot about 37.5% from three this year, which is not a terrible percent. It's not like Gottlieb type numbers, but it's also not elite. It's the only part of her offensive game which you would say isn't elite in terms of statistically. She's below 50% from the field. She could be a little higher, a little bit more efficient. Now, she takes a lot of deep ones. That's part of it. And so when I watched it, I was like, that's interesting. And I have lots of friends in basketball. Okay? My life outside of Fox Sports Radio is really in basketball. I run a basketball program. I coach basketball. I have basketball friends. That and my kids. That's kind of all I got, right? So Mike Procorpio was like the video guy and helped analyze Kobe Bryant, somebody who pro has worked with lots of different NBA players and NBA teams. So I tweeted at him and I said, the amount of work it takes to be consistent through her mechanical flaw is really impressive. If you were advising her, would you fix it in the offseason at Hoop Consultants? At Hoop Consultants is Mike Procorpio's Twitter handle. So Pro responded several times over and said, it's probably something she developed over time when she was younger to try and get the ball there. And, doesn't think it's a major issue, but would probably work to fine tune it in the offseason. This thing is blown up, and is blown up to the level of let's do a little check on it. The analytics are 11 million impressions, 104,000 engagements, 40,881 detail expands, 51,000 profile visits, and I picked up 29 new followers. So there has been every single kind of response. My favorite ones, Monsi, are that I'm mansplaining. Help me out. How is that mansplaining?
I don't know how that is mansplaining, but I will. Can I be honest with you?
Of course.
You can't be surprised that this is the reaction that Doug Gottlieb got when saying something about Caitlin Clark. That was not a full positive thing.
Right, because people can't actually have reasonable analysis of her.
I think that's true, but I also think it's...
No, I know it's true. I have proof right here on my phone.
Right, but...
They can't actually... It's... By the way, okay, I want you to read this. I want to read the sentence for you. And you tell me, the amount of work it takes to be consistent through her mechanical flaw is really impressive. Okay, so to be consistent, which is really what it takes to be a very good shooter and a player.
Right.
Okay, the amount of work, she has great work ethic, and it's impressive. Mechanical flaw, people will go like mechanical flaw. It is a mechanical flaw. There's no denying it. No one teaches you to shoot the ball starting on the left side of your head.
Right.
No one. There is not anybody. I have been to a million shooting coaches myself, and I've taken my son to 100 different workouts. There is not one human being alive that goes, hey, here's how we're going to start your shot over to the left side, sling it over to the right, and shoot with your thumb. Nobody teaches that.
Yeah, no. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So by definition, it's a mechanical flaw.
Yeah, but it was kind of like backhanded compliment.
She makes it in spite of this?
Yeah, like
But she had to work really, really hard to do it?
I saw it as a backhanded compliment.
No, it's fine. You're allowed to.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the issue, okay? If you want to play in the deep pool, you got to swim with the sharks.
Sure.
Okay, and there's not even criticism there. I didn't say she didn't guard anybody.
You didn't. You didn't say anything.
I just said like, hey, look at her shot. It starts on the left side of her head.
Right, which is not how you would teach anyone to shoot a ball.
No.
But why?
And she's worked hard to overcome and become a great player and score more points than anybody in women's college basketball history, despite the fact she starts the ball on the left side of her head.
Right.
So
she's not going to change anything now.
Why wouldn't she?
Why would she?
Because she's shooting 37% from three. Ideally, you want to shoot in the low 40s from three.
Okay, she's not far from that. She could probably do that with her own shot. Don't you think it would be more detrimental to her to completely change what she's been doing that is successful for her?
Okay, so that's a really good question. That's basically what I asked Mike Procorpio, which is you're at 37. Do you move it over? Do you start on the right side? Do you move it over to the middle? And I said you wait till the offseason. You don't do it right now.
Sure.
You don't have the time to do it right now.
Yeah.
You screw it all up. It takes a lot of reps. Okay, to make that thing work. Okay, and it's the old 10,000 hours. You got to move that shot over. But the shot is incredibly similar.
I need to
Lonzo Ball.
There's a couple of things here. A couple of things. So when you say off season, what you just explained, I didn't know that's what you meant, because I think a lot of the criticism or a lot of the reaction you're getting is. She just broke the record. Now you want to change her shot immediately? I think they assume the offseason is this between the NCAA season and the WNBA season.
No.
So
when the WNBA season ends, and
that's not clear. I think because I've been reading your comments.
Again, because you have people who don't know anything about anything. Okay, they don't. They're like, I've had tweets like she's the greatest shooter in NCAA basketball history. Like, no, she's not. No, she's not. She's not the greatest shooter. She's not a bad shooter, but she's not a great shooter. Okay? She's really good. Okay?
She's the greatest scorer.
Correct.
Yes, there's a difference.
Correct. She's a great offensive player. Okay, people don't understand the difference between shooter and scorer. They don't understand the difference between cutter. We call it slashers, but you can score to cut. Listen, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's a perfect example, right? He's not a great three-point shooter, doesn't shoot a high volume. He's unbelievable, like 5-7 feet in. I never see anything like it. Kyrie's a finisher. People don't understand that, like, finishing. They've thought for years Russell Westbrook is a great finisher because he goes in and he'll dunk and yell. The analytics tell you he's actually a terribly inefficient finisher. Like, the biggest flaw to Russell Westbrook in his prime was he was a bad finisher. Mm-hmm. You can be a subpar three-point shooter, especially back in that era. But if you can't make a high percentage of finishes, whereas Kyrie, an unbelievable finisher. Anyway, so just so you know, J-Stu, it's okay. The offseason, and this is a lot like Lonzo Ball, where you get drafted in, June, you play a little summer league, and then you're in training camp in October. There's not the time there to change your shot. You got to wait till after your first season. Okay, so after your first season in the WNBA, it's like September up until April or May. If I don't believe she's going to go overseas and play. She doesn't have to. She's going to make enough money with Nike. Women only do that traditionally to make a ton of money. Maybe she does. But even in that provides you the time, because you only play sometimes once or twice a week, depending. But that would be the time in which you go and you tweak your shot, fix your shot. If you want to change the verbiage to it, whatever you want. But the way that real basketball people talk is, are you going to fix that? Or are you going to leave it? And what you're saying, Monty, is really, really, that's the interesting part. Because do you go like, you know what? It's worked. Let's not screw it up. She probably won't be perfect with it. May not shoot, 42, 43 from three, but it works. Like, don't screw with it. It screws with their head. Some people, you move that thing over, you change it, you change it. And I think somewhere in between a dramatic change and not doing anything, I would guess, first thing is, I actually think she developed this in the last year and a half or so. Because if you look, the numbers have actually gone down this year. And I think she's done it because the defense is completely built around stopping her, and they pick her up so deep, she takes deeper shots. And it's a way to generate more power more quickly. And I think it's kind of, I don't want to say it's screwed up her shot, but it's a bit of a flaw. And I think it will limit her ability to shoot off the dribble going to her right. So people will funnel her right and play for her to drive going right. And if you look, and I've had people go like, look at the percentage of her going right. That's fine. I've watched the games, and everybody plays for try to push her right, where she's going to make plays going to the basket or shoot. And for the record, and I think my buddy Brian Yankelevich, who's a former player at Long Beach State and assistant coach, he pointed out most righties, I don't know if you guys know this, in basketball, which way do right-handers like to go to shoot jump shots? Want to take a guess? Sam? Want to guess? It would stand to reason you go to your right hand, right?
Right.
It's actually easier to go to your left. Because your shoulders, as your shoulders turn, they don't over-rotate when you're going to your right. They actually line up perfectly. Whereas you go to your right, they have a tendency to over-rotate, so the ball goes to the left. And there are exceptions to that. Kobe, much better going right. Jordan, going right. But like LeBron, he never shoots jump shots going to his right. It's always to his left. The reason Steph is a breakthrough player is Steph is good off the catch. Steph goes right. Steph goes left. And Steph can do what very few people can do, which is called shooting off the switch, which means most guys don't. You switch hands, usually you take a bounce. Like Damian Lillard takes a bounce and then sidesteps. He doesn't. He'll switch hands and shoot the ball. He gets rid of it quick. He shoots right. He shoots left. And he shoots catch and shoot. Very few. Some guys can. You guys remember Sedale Threatt? Sedale Threatt played for the Lakers. Okay. And Sedale Threatt used to always, he had to shoot out of his left hand. Anyway, I want to play for you. I know we got to wrap. This is Dan Patrick earlier today on the tweet.
Would you change Reggie Miller's shot? If I'm going to, go with Doug's logic here, yes. Reggie had a weird follow through. I just want to know, where are you when you release the ball? There are a lot of people who look good shooting. Where are you when you release the ball? And Caitlin starts on the left. Would you change Kevin Durant's shot? He starts on the left and brings it over to the right. Right? So, Doug's trolling people and wants people to respond to it. And, people then get personal with Doug. What Doug is saying is, all right, now, first of all, would you fix it in the offseason? Are you trying to tell me after she's 22 years of age and now she's going to change her? Why would I want her to change her shot? Unless you said she's not going to be able to get her shot off in the pros, in the WNBA. If that were the case and she needed to release it quicker, okay, I would at least understand where the tweet's coming from. But by all accounts, she hits shots from a variety of places, variety of angles with people all over her. And offenses or defenses that were geared to stop you. I'm okay with that.
It's fine.
Like, I'm okay with the shot.
You're fine.
You're now trying to change it?
You're allowed to be.
That would be hard-pressed to do.
I don't think it would be hard-pressed to do. I think, you talk about Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller, when he graduated UCLA, it was the first year of the three-point shot. He shot 44% from three. Okay? And he shot a high volume of them for the time at five threes a game. Okay, now, Reggie Miller's shot was funky. His hand was also under the ball, but he shot with two hands. He shot the ball the same way every time. There's the consistency. There's working through a flaw to shoot the ball. Now, I know Reggie Miller's in the Hall of Fame. I would challenge whether or not he should be. The highest Reggie ever finished in the All-Pro rankings was third team All-Pro. Okay? And if there was a flaw to Reggie Miller was he struggled to shoot the ball off the dribble. He did not shoot the ball off the dribble, hardly at all. He was unbelievable, moving at the basketball, maybe catch one dribble up and shoot it. And was it the way in which he released it? Maybe. Okay? I agree with Dan. It is the way in which the shot is shot and finished. But shooting it on the left side does hurt you from being able to go right. And, again, let's see how the first year goes. I believe you have a deeper three-point line. You are playing against better competition, bigger, older ladies, and there is, of course you can work through your shot when you're 22 years old. It's the exact same shot that Lonzo Ball used to take. Same shot. Okay? And you're like, well, Lonzo Ball couldn't shoot. He shot 42% from three in college. Not as good a free throw shooter. That's the thing that people fall back on. She's a very good free throw shooter. But I also don't think she shoots it nearly that way when she shoots in the free throw line. I
didn't pay close enough attention, but when she shoots the free throw, does the ball start on the left too?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think so. So, which again, makes it more impressive that she can shoot it slightly differently and still be the best women's basketball player in college. But if it would take you to 42, 43, 44% from three, would you do it? It's a great question. And again, your response to it at the end, which is it could screw her up, that's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. You risk screwing it up by changing it. And I'm not talking about wholesale changes. You move it over slowly and you do it in the off season.
A tweak.
Yeah. But what happens is you say fix and people freak out and they're like, well, her shot's not broke, so you don't need to fix it. Understood. It's more a term of, do you fix the mechanics of it?